Hello everybody, what is up? My name is Zero Solstice, and this is the first time in a very long time that I've actually said that phrase, and it feels strange, actually. It feels very not correct for some reason I can't quite describe. But it has been almost 2 years. It's been like a little over a year and a half since the last time I've uploaded a real video. I should say it's been a while since the last time I've done a commentary. I actually uploaded another video a couple days ago of some world roaming on Corruption Mancer. It's basically just Condi Necro with Master of Corruptions because strong trade is strong and Corrupt Boon is really powerful at the moment. But that's besides the point. I am in fact alive, as you may or may not believe based on the history that I have of posting videos twice in the last year and a half. But that is simply because of the fact that I am a busy college student doing college student things, and when I find the time to play video games, I don't always record, and I've recently been getting myself back into the habit of actually doing the recordings. The hard part now, more or less, is finding the time to actually do the editing and the commentary and all of that other stuff, finding all the music that I might want, all of that. But that's besides the point. What I want to talk about today is how absolutely badly I get my ass pounded at the start of this game, and it's gross. Just tune out the first 2.5 minutes of this game because it's a fuckfest and it's pretty grody. I'm not gonna lie, it's really bad. We're getting farmed outside of spawn right now, as you can tell. But what I want to talk about specifically is the build that I've been using to climb the PvP ladder as of late. I have personally been playing a custom brew that I made when I first started queuing. The PvP season started Tuesday, so that was 6 days ago, a little under a week. And I managed to duo queue out of Amber, and then I solo queued clean through Emerald up to Diamond in the resulting 4 days or 3 days. So let's see. I got out of Amber in 2 hours on Tuesday. Didn't play Wednesday, and then between Thursday and Saturday evening, I solo queued up to Diamond. And I've been playing this build, more or less, to do that. And this, I don't necessarily want to say that it's the Shout's Corruption build that people have been passing around in meta battle and in places like that, because it's not necessarily the true name or the true style of the build. It's not the same. That build likes to run an additional stun break instead of Corrupt Boon with 2 shouts, being Suffer and Rise. In the video here, I use Corrupt Boon with Suffer and Rise, and I run into a number of points, a number of moments where I really wish I had had a stun break. So after a short while after this video, I want to say it might have been halfway through Emerald or towards the start of Sapphire, I decided to drop Suffer altogether from the lineup, and I instead moved to just permanently slotting in Plague Signet instead, because I found that I really wanted the stun break, and with all of the Condi running around right now, is like you can see on my team alone in this game, there are 3 Necros. This isn't necessarily the most normal thing to see, but it's here, and you're witnessing just all of the conditions flying around on all of these fights. So I find Plague Signet as a stun break to be not just one of the 2 most efficient in terms of cooldowns, the other being You Are All Weaklings, but I also find that its upside helps severely sway matchups against other Necros, since the Necro v Necro mirror can come down really heavily to whoever has the most transfers and whoever has better appropriate use of them. And I also find that the downside is actually semi-useful when you're stuck in this meta where a lot of people are just having conditions tossed at them. It's nice when you're not being appropriately focused and trained around a node as a Necro, and you're free casting on the enemy team while they free cast on your team, or whatever is ending up to occur, I find that it's nice to be able to peel conditions off of my teammates that are actually taking focus and kind of shoulder that burden, I guess you could say, for the time that I am not under pressure. Because at any point, it's easy enough to aggressively use Plague Signet to transfer debilitating conditions to an opponent. Let's say I pull a chill off of an enemy Necro. I can at any point see a low opponent and transfer whatever chill and other conditions I have on me to that guy in hopes that it'll kill him. Generally, if you intend to do something aggressive like that, it's not smart to use Plague Signet to do it because, again, it is a stun break. It's smarter to use Putrid Mark for that type of aggression, for that type of transfer usage. Some people tend to opt for Scepter Dagger currently. I am still personally on Scepter Warhorn. I really like the unblockable CC for Revenants and for Scrappers. But a number of Necros will be running Scepter Dagger with Dagger Offhand, which has an extra transfer on the Dagger 4 ability. So that's another way that you could aggressively and proactively use those conditions that you pull from Plague Signet. And all of it just adds up to more DPS, more survivability for your team, as long as you can actively manage it all appropriately. And I think having the stun break is worth more than having the additional shout and suffer. And it also allows me to continue running Corrupt Boon, which at the moment may or may not be a little too strong. I think they might want to do something along the lines of reworking Master of Corruptions to add additional benefits to each of the different corruptions rather than just reducing the cooldown and putting more conditions on you. Because then it'll offer up some more curses, master line trait choices that are meaningful. Because currently Terror isn't fantastic because there's a ton of stability running around, so it's extremely unreliable. And Master of Corruptions, unless you're all in on the Corruptions concept, isn't terribly worth the cooldown as much as Path of Corruption is. So here I get Moa'd and just absolutely wrecked upon, and it happens. Welcome to Mesmers. But I think they should do something along the lines of when you're traded for Master of Corruptions, Corrupt Boon becomes unblockable, rather than unblockable simply being baseline. And when you trait for Master of Corruptions, Corrosive Poison Cloud also cripples people, or little things like that, I think might be a good idea to improve Master of Corruptions, while also being able to take away some of the baseline power of some of these abilities, like Corrupt Boon, but still leaving the actual functionality somewhere in the class. You just need to make a more meaningful decision on whether or not you want it. I think that could be interesting. Obviously, it needs a much more thorough look than what I just gave it to really see if it's balanced or unbalanced or what have you, but I think it's potentially a step in the right direction. But the majority of this game, I spend havocing far, because in a large number of these 1v1s and these 1v2s, Necro has a lot of staying power and a lot of potential to win out against the Bunker Ellie builds, the Power Revenant builds, any of these classes that don't really know how to appropriately manage the pressure that you put onto them. It's possible to win in even or outnumbered situations. A Power Revenant that plays the matchup correctly can absolutely win the 1v1, especially the 1v2. But if the Power Revenant doesn't necessarily know how best to manage the situation or the status that the Reaper is in, then it's mostly one-sided. Tips that I would give for easily winning the matchup as a Power Reaper or a Power Revenant against a Condi Reaper would be evade as often as possible. Obviously, you have a bunch of dodge rolls with Shiro and all that, and Sword 3, Staff 5, all of those. And when they're in when the Reaper's in quote-unquote human form, just put the pressure on. Don't give them breathing space, because cast times are long. They have to be facing you, which means that they're not getting full run speed away. And when they're in Reaper Shroud, just hard disengage with dodge rolls and Shiro rolls and just get away and wait for them to drop Shroud or just simply drain Shroud. And once Shroud has gone, like once they've dropped it or they've drained it or what have you, just phase traversal right back into the fight and continue putting pressure down. Because Reaper Shroud is extremely strong for laying down damage, both power and Condi based, depending on if you are a full power build, a full Condi build, hybrid, it doesn't matter. It does a bunch of damage, but it is extremely easy to kite. Especially if you manage to fool around with the Reaper Shroud 2. There are a number of ways that you can get it to not go where it needs to go not as far as it needs to go, things of that nature. And every amount of space that you put between you and the Reaper during that time is just... It pretty much wins the fight for you. But that is a nice short quick video. Not so short, I guess. It's going on 12 minutes. But this was a game which, for all intents and purposes, we should have lost, and we kind of somehow won it. And this game was great. This was a really fun game to play. And I will probably try to get a couple more videos up of diamond queues showing off the current build I'm playing with Plague Signet and all. But until that time comes, I hope you all have a wonderful day. My name is Zero Solstice, and this was the Corruptions Shouts build thing that I have been working with. Link is in the description.